Hmm. Did I start off a little bit earlier tonight? All righty. Trying to get some stuff done here, but YouTube is cutting up on me. Trying to get this stuff squared away, but I'm having problems. So what's going on, party people? Oh man. All right. Not sure why this thing is not where. Okay, here we go. All right. Um, I guess I use this account. All right. Oh, somebody calling me confirm an appointment. Hey, Griffin Notary. Griffin Notary Services. I'm the real estate notary. Yes, you're calling me, sir. I figure you're calling to confirm an appointment that I called you about.
When did I talk to you? When did I call you?
You somebody just called me now. I mean, you just called me. I believe I called you to confirm an appointment. I'm looking on my calendar now to yeah for the 30th at 11 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then. Yeah, y'all. What's the name of the mortgage company?
I don't have that directly in front of me, but I'm the notary and I'm the one for your refinance. I mean, for your reverse mortgage loan application that you're doing.
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, let's slow down a little bit. It's called. I talked to the lady yesterday called um golf something like that. Something.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, did make a appointment. So
Yeah, Guild. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Guild Mortgage. Guild. Guild Mortgage.
I told her a couple of years. See, my house is paid for. And I don't have to pay for it.
I understand.
So anyway, so all of a sudden, I said something. I said something about
Hold on one second. This is appointment.
assessment is to my insurance state farm.
Right.
They got me saying my house is valued at
Okay.
so like I got a house and I had another house beside my house and I own the land. Cities I can, to sell my house.
Well, okay, sir. I don't. I'm just the guy that bring you the paperwork to to submit to them to start the process on doing a reverse mortgage. They don't talk to me about the financial part and your house values or any of that. So they asked me to confirm an appointment with you on the 30th at 11 a.m. to do for you to submit this. So the question is, do you want us to meet or not to meet? Okay, I will. Right. Yeah, I have no right. Call her because I can't answer any questions for you. I don't even know any of what you're sharing right now. Correct, sir. It's whatever they told you. I'm just the guy that brings the paperwork. I don't know anything about the reverse mortgage or any of that. Okay, sounds good. Seben Griffin. I'm the notary, and my job is to bring you the paperwork for you to fill out for the reverse mortgage application. I don't work for them. I'm an independent notary, independent contractor. 757-589-4916. It's on the number that you called me back on. Seben Griffin. That's my name. Seben Griffin. Okay. Yes, you'll be signing it. That I'll assume the most of it will be filled out, and all you have to do is sign it, sir. All right, sounds good. You too. Whew. He was trying to give me what's going on. Yeah, starting early, and I ain't gonna be up here too long. Yeah, he was giving me the whole history about his property values and all that kind of stuff. And then the crazy part is he called me and then he was like, I didn't call you. And I'm like, you just called me, sir. So it is what it is. So I can confirm that appointment with him. All right. So we're good to go. So what's going on, party people? Oh man. So ah, it's so much going on. It's so much going on. And I'm trying to be good and not be so fussy about all of this craziness that's going on. Um, but it's wearing on people. All of this is wearing on people, and people are sort of trying to figure out where we going with trying to fight the end. Sorry about that. Somebody sent in the order right there. That's for Williamsburg, Virginia. That's an hour or so away. Um, that's on Christmas Eve, 9 in the morning. I am not going way up there at 9 in the morning on Christmas Eve. That is not happening whatsoever. Um, what people are realizing is that this ain't what they signed up for. All of this fussing back and forth and everything. Why do my camera doesn't look right? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on. All right, there we go. There we go. I knew something was wrong with my camera. Okay. Um, but yeah, people are trying to figure out how we're going to move forward and make money in this business. You got people fussing about fees and all of this, and the title companies are tired of it, not getting tired, they're tired of it. The signing companies are tired of the notaries fussing. And I'm sitting here just looking at this whole thing, and it's like we have a great opportunity to move forward in this business, and people are refusing to just do basic work. And that's what's really that's what's really messing things up is that people are just it's like they are refusing to do basic work of just showing up and getting the job done, but that tells me that's the kind of person they are in their W2, because there's no way you can be an astute person that understands work ethic, but then you become a business owner and you just completely throw all of that out the window and just start doing all of this other bull jive. I'm Yeah, you said yeah, good seeing me call out. Yeah. And it's become a mess. And see, here's the thing. Some of these same people, they call people out and then they get upset that you're calling them out. But the one thing that I've learned across the board is that you always got to have a solution. And there are a lot of people out here, they don't have any solutions. They just got complaints. and I'm sitting on probably maybe 75 or 80 appointments for this month, that's my solution to my financial needs. Trying to shut down the NNA, trying to make this company pay me this and make that company pay me that. Let me work with what's out here. Let me work with what is available. And the crazy part is that so many of us we do that on a day-to-day basis with a W-2, but you start this business and then all of a sudden you think you are some king or queen of entrepreneurship and you want to tell everybody else how they ought to pay you, but you have nothing that you really bringing to the table. And when that doesn't work, you then turn around and start asking everybody else to feel the same way as you. And they're like, I really don't. But okay, I'll feel bad about my situation, even though I don't think it's that bad. And nobody's making money. Nobody's moving forward. Nobody's doing what they originally intended to do when they came in this business. That's the sad part. Will it get fixed? It's something that is already in them. That is correct. It is already in them. Will this get fixed? To be honest, I'm having a hard time believing that it will. But you're going to constantly have people fussing about stuff. And this is where, even though I know it may not be some of y'all's personality, at some point in time, in my opinion, you're going to have to start speaking up. You're going to have to start calling these folk out. And it don't have to be public. You can just, hey, what are you talking about? You go into these rooms and they talking smack. You gotta sometimes say something back because every time what I've learned is that when you don't say anything, there's always somebody who's gonna, I think what they're saying is correct. That's why when people make comments on my channel and they're misguided, they're not fact based. I always say something about it and I present facts because I know from experience that people see those comments and then there's always somebody that thinks that, yeah, you're right. That person commenting on Griff's video is right, but the person doesn't give proper context. As I read last week, the person was saying all this stuff, but guess what? They never answered my questions. And Caprinas, he knows there's people that come in and they will say all of this stuff, and then you ask them a simple question and they will not answer the question. And when you have somebody who's making these statements, but you ask them a pointed question, well, how much do you want to get paid? Oh, well, that's neither here nor there. Then why are you saying something? Why are you complaining about pay? But when somebody's asking you what do you want to get paid, you have no response. And if they do give the response, the max that they actually are talking about is like $100. I mean, like a $20 increase. So they just want to go up to $100. And it's sad. And a lot of you are getting thrown off. A lot of you are getting misdirected from the original intent that you have for this business, which was to make some money and move forward. And because of all of this bad intent, because of all of this craziness out here, a lot of the businesses that hire notaries have put safeguards in place against this mess. And it's hurting us. It's stopping us from being able to make the money like we could. It's interfering with new notaries getting the opportunity to come out here and make money because they're skittish of you because they don't know what your pedigree is. Are you a part of this group or that group? So that's why I keep saying in your profile, one of the things you're going to have to do is what? You're probably going to have to say, I am not a part of these people. This is who I am. Because right now, a lot of people think that everybody's coming from these 3 and 4 letter name courses and these persons here and that person there. And those people aren't necessarily trusted by all title companies. So they have bad experiences with folk who took that training. You brag about you took the training. They're going to think you're going to act like them. So they're not going to pick you. So sometimes you just have to be disassociated with them. But then even though you're disassociated, the moment you get an order, you start acting like the bad training you took. And next thing you know, you're getting blacklisted. My man said, you're going to take an assignments that you can take in order to make what you need to make That's the that's just point blank, and I think that's something that people are forget. Yeah, they have forgotten it. They've forgotten, and that's the hallmark of a scammer. Scammers misdirect you from your original intent. So my thing is this: anybody out here who's talking in such a way that's redirecting your attention to something else, even if it's another stream of income, it could potentially be a scam. Why? Because they're not helping you to get strong in what you're supposed to be doing and what you said you want to do. They say, "Oh, well, that's nice, but that's not good enough. Over here is really where it's at." And every time you turn around, it's, "Oh, there's this other thing that you can do to make money, and there's another thing, and another thing, and another thing." But you realize after a year or so, what you originally started to do, you never got good at, and you're wondering why you're struggling, and you're wondering why you're having arguments with your spouse, and you're wondering why your bank account is the way it is, which is not good because you keep allowing yourself to get redirected into something that was never a part of who you are, was never in your heart. Your heart was, hey, I just want to do general notary, this, that, and the other, make a couple of $100 a month, and I'm good. The next thing you know, swing. Next thing you know, they're telling you, oh, you can make all of this. Why are you doing that? You're belittling yourself, and they make you feel bad about who you are. And I think most of us, when we grew up, we said, my parents told us, don't be around people who make you feel bad about who you are. A person who can't accept you for who you are and for what you are doing, especially when you're not doing anything wrong, is not a person that you need to have in your life. My wife right there. Just do the job correctly the first time. Like I said, I had to pivot to field inspection and it's boom. Yeah. You do what you have to do, and it's nothing wrong with that. So I'm saying right now, in my opinion, that a lot of this stuff out here is a scam when it comes to trying to get you to move your notary business in this direction and that direction. I'm saying it officially that anybody out here that is just brand new in this business, only been in here a year or two, you best be mindful of them because they probably don't really know what they're talking about. I put a video up on Instagram and TikTok, and I forgot. I was so busy today. I forgot to post it on YouTube. And right now, I'm gonna go ahead on and post it on YouTube. I uploaded and forgot to post it. And it's a video called "Do the TMCs Ever Give Proof of What They Are Teaching?" That's the video. Do they ever give proof about what they are teaching? And I'm going to make that public. I'm just going to hit save and make it public. And then I will put this in the comment section here. But that's the thing. That is why your why is very important. Correct. Why are you doing this? And a lot of people, because they just want some easy money. And people are making it seem that way. And then when you realize that it's not as easy as they said, which is fine. Just like the job you had. Oh man, they said this job gonna be a piece of cake, and then you find out that it's not as easy as you thought. But did you give up? No. Did you go spend $2,000 on a training course? No. You figured it out. So why can't you figure out this business? Here's the crazy thing. This is the crazy thing. Many of you are running around, and please hit the like button so this can go out. Many of you are spending a lot of time trying to get somebody who you personally have no connection with whatsoever to teach you something that they have no connection to. They don't know what it's like to be a notary in your state. They don't understand your state laws. but you want them to tell you everything it is to do. You want them to tell you everything that you need to know or you think you need to know in order to do this business. But when you have a job, what the first thing they do? They come out and they do something to this effect here. Here's the employee manual. Keep this on your desk. Keep this close by. If you got any questions about such and such, right here. Matter of fact, it's also online. The TMCs are doing this. Hey, here's what you can do to be a notary and make money. Here's how you ought to operate as a notary. Here's what you can do to be six-figure notary. Here's how you notarize in your such and such document. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Ask them, where's the manual? Where's the proof at? Show me chapter and verse about what you're saying. They can't, and they will not, because in doing so might expose them as a fraud. This is why y'all I'm gonna keep running my mouth, but y'all are going to have to start stepping your game up, and y'all are going to have to start saying something, because I believe some of y'all have what it takes to be signing company owners. And see, what I really believe should happen, the signing company owners need to start calling these bull jive TMCs out, provided they're not a part of one themselves. That is right. they doing clickbait. They're doing all that clickbaiting. That's what I believe that needs to happen right now, is the signing company owners, because y'all are being directly impacted. And I also believe the title companies need to get out there, because these same trainers are saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, take my training," and the title companies, they're looking for notaries who's taking my training. Where's the proof? I'm in Texas now. I use my state, Virginia. I'm in Virginia. Show me that the direct clients that I'm working with actually want me to have your training. Hmm? Where's the daggone proof? See, this is so crazy in this business, is that so many of you, not necessarily you who are, that's in the live right now, but others of you who are watching, or people that literally are running your business off of no proof that what you've been told is even true. But yet you won't do anything in your job because you can't find it in your manual. You have what the thing called Navy regulations. It governs how you function. We have a thing called the Code of Virginia. You have state statutes, but yet nobody who's teaching you how to be a notary can point you to any state statute to support hardly any of the stuff that they say. And you just eat it up and start running down the street. Yeah, I'm a notary. Woo-hoo. And you're doing stuff that is illegal. And I hear people all the time they were talking about, well, we need to change the notary laws. Like we was in Clubhouse. In order for you to start trying to change the notary laws, what you need to do, just checking, make sure no orders are slipped in here. What you need to do is understand why the current laws are the way that they are before start talking about changing the current laws into something that is really just beneficial to you. Are the laws that you want changed, and the way you want them changed, is it to benefit you, or is it to benefit the constituents and the residents of your state? Because the moment you get into, I want the laws to change so I can make more money, that's not right. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. Because you're the same person that does what? Complain about the politicians and the way they're making these laws, the gerrymandering within the black community, the gerrymandering. You read zone that district, it kicks kids out of schools, it does this, it does that. It puts some people on one side of the railroad track than the other. The history of how they built the interstates in the inner cities to block off and to sort of cage up minority neighborhoods and the low income people from everybody else? See, when laws are changed, it's supposed to be beneficial to people, but a lot of time people only want the laws to change to benefit them. So when notaries talk about changing the laws, it's, do you have the people who is paying you in mind, or you just want them to pay you more money because you feel you deserve it? You feel you should just get it because I'm here and I'm worth it. Nobody cares what you think you're worth at all. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all have any questions whatsoever? Is there a lot of courses are still going off of the housing market boom during right before COVID or right after COVID, and this whole another, and it's a whole nother housing market right now. Correct. The housing market is completely different. Somebody told me today that somebody told them that the average fee really for notary for doing closings is $150. And here's the problem, and I get it and I understand. People are like, well, the fees have been 150, say on average nationwide 150. But inflation has gone up, this is going up, all of that, cost of living, all that, but the fees haven't. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but now you have to ask yourself, what's the justified reason for it to go up? Who's paying the increase? Because we know that the notary fee is a part of the closing cost, and the closing cost is paid by who? The buyers and the sellers of the property. So now you have to convince them that that there should be an increase in the fee to the notary. And when they ask the question, well, what is the notary bringing to the table that justifies a fee increase from 150 to 225? Well, things have gotten more expensive. Now, keep in mind this: if you're working direct, your cost basis is low because you're most of the time you're not printing, you're not scanning, you just driving there to show up. So why do I need to give you 225 when all you're doing is just showing up? These are questions that a business owner would ask. I'm not, just because I'm mentioning it doesn't mean that I don't think that we shouldn't get a pay increase. I'm just saying that from a business owner standpoint, it's like, what's the justified reason? Because I got to go to my accountant, I got to go to my financial planner, I got to go to my employees who are probably depending on me giving them a raise, and tell them I can't give them a raise because I got to give you a raise. You, the independent contractor who I may only use one time. I only use 3 or 4 times a year, and you want me to increase your fee to a substantial dollar amount, but I'm not even really working with you a whole lot. Where's the justification in that? Just because I'm doing 85, 90, 100 closings a month doesn't mean I'm doing it for the same group of people each time. There's some companies that I'm only doing 3 to 5 closings a month. That's a part of that. So how do I go to them saying, okay, yeah, you need to give me a $35 increase? But where I'm really making my money and things are coming along is that I'm doing more for other companies. They pay maybe a little less, but I'm consistently, look, I just deposit. Where the heck is it? I just deposited a check. I thought it was up here. I don't know what the heck I did with it. But I just deposited a check for $410. Oh, there it is. There you go. Right there. Right there. Today. You see the date. I just deposited that today. Today. Yep, that's it right there. $410. As long as I got the money coming in, that's all I care about. See, I don't have a problem doing the work. Now, if you got too much going on in your life and you can't do 50 signings a month, you can't do 80 signings a month, I get it. I get it. But how do you convince this person who you're doing only maybe 10 or 15 a quarter for to give you a 35% increase? That's the question. And nobody is coming out with a clear way of doing it. What my man got to say here. He said, "Hey, I got a question for you. I am trying to rebrand my business. I was wondering if you know anybody or have any references to somebody I can reach out to." I got to hit my man Q up because I hadn't talked to him in a while. I know he was doing that. So when you said rebrand, I guess the question is, I guess for is your logo and your color scheme and things of that nature. That's what I would assume you mean. That's what I would assume you mean. And if that's the case, um, yeah, Q might be able to do that. Um, he might be able to help you out with that. What is black? Hold on. I'm trying to make. I should know his website off the top of my head because I, yeah. Here's his website. Um, and let me. Yeah, here's his website. Right there, logo design and brand creation, all of that. Don't know what his pricing structure is, but that's his site. Hit him up. He's working with Joseph Haskin, the Mobile Notary Network out of Indiana. He's doing a great job with him. So he's down there in Tampa, Florida, but hit him up and Q will. Oh, there he is right there. There he is right there. What's going on, man? Yeah. Yep. My man Bruce here was Bruce was trying to get some info on somebody helping him to rebrand himself. So I was just sharing your information with him and everything. So Q's right there. He'll take good care of you and all that stuff. Um so I just want y'all to use some common sense when running a business. And I'm not trying to call anybody ignorant, dumb, or anything of that nature. It's just that we get so excited and we get so hyped up that we forget some of the basics. I heard somebody recently say basically the same skill set and technique, discipline, determination that you used in your W 2, bring that over into your business. And when you think about it, if you was a person that showed up on time, that finished projects, that understood what your role was and was not, why aren't you bringing that over here? You recognize that I would like a 3% pay raise. What do I need to do? Okay, boom. I would like, and see, here's the thing. This is the thing. I'm glad I just said that because here's the problem. A lot of notaries, y'all are looking for pay raises rather than a revenue increase. See, you can have a company to pay you, give you a quote unquote pay raise, but does it really help increase your revenue? See, an increase in revenue is that you're getting more opportunities or you're getting better opportunities that do pay more. But sometimes you got to work down here and get good down here so that you can be elevated up. And you're supposed to learn something here. The problem is the people here, the entry part of this business, they're not learning anything because they're worried about being up here and trying to teach you stuff. So how can you grow your business to the proper notary that business is supposed to be when you're up here trying to teach me how to do what you aren't doing? You're giving me improper pricing information, all of that. You're sharing information and you're not even giving me chapter and verse as to whether or not this is even legal. Is it legal in your state? Do you understand the concept of it? all of that. And for the most part, a lot of them know. Most people, and we applaud people, most people go to work, they find out what they can do, they learn what they need to do down here, and then they allow themselves to be elevated. As you allow yourself to be elevated properly, you're able to handle the increased responsibility. You're able to handle the increased scrutiny. So when you get elevated properly, even though your coworkers may not like the fact that you got elevated and they didn't, they really can't say anything because they know you did what you're supposed to do and you can handle it. The problem comes in when you have a employee, your coworker, who gets elevated into a position that they're really not qualified for. And see, some of them out here in this here wonderful world of trying to be an educator in the notary space think that because they got some kind of degree, the men and women think they got because they got some kind of degree that qualifies them to teach notary stuff, but yet they don't know their own state laws. What qualifies you is experience in this business and your knowledge of your notary laws and your willingness to learn other people's notary laws and then to properly articulate that and to provide factual proof to support what you're saying. And 99% of the notary TMCs out here don't provide any factual proof. Any kind of proof they provide is just, hey, look how much money I'm making. The money they're making to them is their actual proof. Like you said, there ain't no notary degrees. Right. There are no notary degrees, but people act like, hey, my MBA, my doctorate, my associates, my double masters, that qualifies me because I was a marketing person in my day job. Now I can teach Google My Business. I can teach Canva. I can teach you all of this kind of stuff. Okay, cool. You might, but can you help me out with my notary law? Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't help you there. Well, that's the part that can get me in trouble. So you can't teach me anything that can really make me be a solid notary. All you can do is teach me some bull jive that might get me more exposure, some opportunities. But when I take the opportunity, I mess it up because I actually don't know how to do my job. This is why I have such a fit. This is why I be up here fussing, which I wasn't going to do tonight, but I can't help it because y'all keep falling for the same old okey doke. Not every single one of y'all out here who watch me, but a lot of you. A lot of you are falling for it. And you see proof that what somebody just told you is a lie, but you are so it's like you said earlier, it's in you. You have such a strong desire to operate in the manner in which somebody else told you, but they didn't provide you any documented proof that what they're telling you is correct. You want to operate on that because it tickles your fancy, it touches your your sensories in your flesh, and it makes you feel good, and you think you're getting over. And here's the other problem: we got to stop trying to act like gangsters in this business. Black folk, white folk, all everybody. Stop trying to get over and stop trying to act like you some hood dude or some hood chick or some barrio person or trailer park person or whatever the heck you want to call it for your particular race. Stop acting like you're always trying to buck the system. Stop trying to buck the system. Sometimes the system actually works in your favor. But people are spending too much time trying to prove that they can go against the system and still make the money like they was in the system. I don't want to be a part of the system. I don't want to follow the system rules and guidelines that a notary's supposed to. I want to do my own thing. I want to be quote unquote abnormal. I want to be quote unquote my own person, but I want to make the money like I want it to look like I stayed in line with the system. Come on, people, talk to me. Japan increased the rate, and what impact will that have on them? I have no idea what you talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, that little fella. You said exactly, but down there, the whole mountain tomb climb itself, most of y'all don't nobody know y'all. You got to start from ground zero and build something sustainable. That is correct. You know who I'm talking about, Q. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody wants to be all hard and difficult, and I'm gonna show you. I most of us in this notary business ain't hood. We not barrio. We not trailer. We're not backwoods. We're not people out there in the wilderness. We're just regular old people trying to make it in this life. But you want to be something that you're not, and there's nothing wrong with learn the rules. That's all. True gangsters learn the rules, and then they deviate just a touch. Most of y'all are deviating and don't even know the rules. Y'all flip flopping back and forth and don't even know not one rule, not one notary law. Don't understand anything. That's why I do the notary certificate training, not so you can be some gangster, but try to get you in line with what you're supposed to be doing. Most notaries are trying to go opposite of established proper protocol. And companies who realize that, they don't want to mess with you. That's all the 10, 15, 20, 30 pages of instructions is about, is trying to get you to do what? Operate within protocols. That's all. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to get you to operate within the protocols that they have set. And there's a reason why they have them like that. But a lot of notaries don't want to do it. Now I'm gonna do my own thing. And then they get mad when people drop the hammer on them and say, you know what, we're gonna move on from you. And I feel sorry for these people because y'all done spent a lot of money to come in this business and you're not able to go out here and do what you need to do and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So here's a good example right here. Here's a good example. One a great company. I have never had a problem with them. This is from Sunshine. Okay. If the signers have questions about the loan or does not want to sign, you must contact the signing company. Make sure the documents are signed exactly as the name is typed. If a clerical error, have the signers change an initial. Okay, it's telling you what to do. You must collect a copy. They collect a photocopy. Photo ID. You must collect a photo ID copy for all the signers. If the Patriot Act asks for two, you must collect copy of both. Overnight, the package must include the FedEx using the enclosed FedEx label. Now, here's the thing. Think about it. This right here must overnight package using the enclosed FedEx label. So what that tells me is that there's some people who are using some other kind of label. Now I know some people, they want to use those thermal printers and all that kind of stuff and reprint the label and all of that. And I know they're going to Oswald. I know you one of those that like to do that. I ain't got time for doing all that. I just use the paper one that they got in there. And you might be able to get away with that in your realm, but other places, they might not allow that. But that's saying use the enclosed FedEx label. So that means people are probably doing their own thing. It says leave a copy of the package with the signers. If you're unable, confirm how they would like to receive it, this way or that way. So that they're giving you, these are instructions, real live grown people instructions. And a lot of folk don't want to follow them simple, basic rules. And this is why folk are having a hard time moving forward in this business because you don't want to follow the basic, simple rules. Here's another one. All right. Here's another set of rules. This package includes both initial and final closing documents. It says the documents are a mixture of both letter and legal. Please make sure nothing is cut off. If the borrower requests a copy, hold on. Who's that? Oh, my wife going to get pickups. So, okay. Okay, she's taking care of helping me out with that. All right, bet. A majority of our signings include initial disclosures. You must sign the package in blue or black telling you letter legal, 2 forms of government ID. The Patriot Act must be completed by you in order for the closing to be considered complete. Please have the borrower review all documents submitted for the closings. If all documents submitted for the closings are not returned, signed, and completed correctly, this also applies to any pages that are cut off. We will need an additional signing to correct. Notary acknowledgments along with stamps are very important and must be completed. Loans cannot be funded with incomplete acknowledgments. This is stuff, basic, simple stuff that all we got to do is follow. If you are late to the closing, please contact them right away. Please have the borrower sign their name exactly as it appears on the signature line. Borrowers must sign exactly as it, if it's a POA or trust. Just basic, simple stuff. And you got notaries who don't want to do that. They do not want to do that at all. That's what's crazy. They don't want. This topic is about notary stuff, not investing or things of that nature, their partner. All right, let's do this here. All right. I just got rid of that person altogether. Don't know what. Yeah, I got him out of there. Swiss, whoever is gone. But this is what we're dealing with, y'all. This is what we're dealing with. Simple, basic stuff that they want us to do. And notaries are like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just do my own thing. And you're wondering why you're struggling. This is a very simple, easy business to do. My advice to y'all is simply this. I want you to just come into this business, do it the way they're asking you to do, then make a determination as to whether you want to keep doing it. If what they're asking you to do and the way they're asking you to do rubs you the wrong way, you don't think you should be given 15 pages of instructions. You don't think you should be told anything to do whatsoever. You think you should be paid 10 minutes after you did the closing, all of that, then don't do the business. And why they're doing it the way they're doing it. Look, today I'm in the closing. On the last page, I get a call. Hey, are you in the closing? Yes, I am. Yeah, we have an updated HUD for him to sign, and he has to send more money. Okay. So I'm going to email it to you. I can't print. I just shared with you that I'm in the closing, so I will have to go home. Well, does he have a printer? No, he does not. They get on the phone with him. So you have a printer, right? And he's telling them over and over again, no, I do not. Why are they acting this way? This is a part of it. Things happen. And all you can do is adjust. So all I did was finish the signing. The HUD that was signed was the incorrect one. I scanned everything, uploaded. I even called the signing company, left a message with them, told them what was going down. Nobody contacted me back. Nothing. And like you were saying, it's a part of the game. But what I did what I had to do correctly. I told them, if you want me to help out, I will if I can. I said I got other appointments. They was like, no, 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 since it don't need to be notarized, we don't need you to do anything. We'll have him do all of it. We'll have him go to UPS and print it out and send it back and he'll ship it out. No problem. My hands off of it. I'm not freaking out. Look, his appointment paid me $80 and it was probably over 150 pages. I did one last night that was only 3 pages for 85. It is what it is. And see, the thing is, you got to start talking and letting people know what is it that you actually expect or thought you were supposed to get in this business. Did you think this business was supposed to be some type of royalty business to where you can sit on a throne like Conan the Barbarian, contemplating the next kingdom you're going to conquer? Mm-mm. Hold on. Let me check on the why. Oh, okay. All right. You know what I'm saying? I was just checking on my wife. That's the thing. Hold on. What you say, Q? I think many notaries take adversity personally and think that when things are changed or there's a bit of a hurdle to get over, they think someone is doing something to them personally. That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, the Conan reference. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Conan the Barbarian, just sitting there contemplating. In a time long ago, when notaries used to get $300 a signing, and now in the present day, they only get 65. Arises a new notary, Conan, the notary, the signing company slayer, the title company tyrant. They forced them to pay us more money. We got to get behind Conan, the notary, to take us back into the olden days of notary work, where we rode on horses with beaver pelts, going from town to town with our wax stamps and notarizing documents for the emperor. I mean, is that what y'all want? Look, things change in life, all of that. All we got to do is find a way to adjust and adapt. You do it for your job. All of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, we're going to have a 10% cut in employees, and the workload is going to go up by 25%." Okay, we losing 10% of the people who are working, but you got a job, right? Yeah, but you want to be a part of 10%? No, 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 I'm good. You adjust, you go home and talk. Hey, honey, here's what's going on. Bill at the job said that you're gonna have to work a little bit more. And babe, what you're going to have to do is you're going to take on a little bit more responsibility, and you're going to pick the kids up, and you're going to have to do this, and you got to do that while I work these extra shift hours and these extra days. And you know what? If your family is tight and you understand what the heck is going on in life, you'll do it. Or will you go out and buy a $2,000 course, how to avoid working extra hours at work? Is that what you're trying to? Yeah, let me take a course on how to avoid working extra hours at work. That's what I need. I'm gonna need a course on that. I'm trying to figure out, but then you become a notary and it's, oh no, I don't have to adjust. I'm just gonna show up. I got my stamp, like my man be doing. I got my stamp, and guess what? All I got to do is say, pay me 300 and they're going to do it. I mean, people act like they little gangsters around here with this notary business. These little notary gangsters. You literally think you got that kind of pull and cachet. Why you think so many of these notary so-called influencers are spending all their time trying to train y'all and have conversations with y'all and all of that kind of stuff? And yes, I have a training course, so I'm not one of those, but I'm out here working. I'm out here doing the work. Okay, I'm actually doing the work day in and day out. Just so you can see, this is my calendar. This is my calendar this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25, that's just this week. As a matter of fact, I need to change his color because he is confirmed. 25. So I'm not trying to sell courses in order to pay my bills. I'm trying to help y'all. But these other suckers, if you don't take their course, they're scrambling. And that's why every 6 months, every 3 months, they keep coming up with a new thing to sell you. Yeah, here's how to get homeless people to do notarization. How you can recruit homeless people to find you notary business out there on the streets. Here's the homeless notary gear that you can put on so you can blend in with them and look like Ned the Wino from Good Times. Here's how you can go into the clubs and put on a particular outfit so you can, dance up and down that vertical thing there and get notaries and get some notaries that way. Here's how you can, do the such and such, stand on the corner. You ain't gonna be no corner boy, but you can stand on the corner and you can have your little thing and all of that. And while you, instead of handing them a thing, you can stamp their hand or something. This is where it's going. These folk will start coming up with all these things and saying, you can do notary for this, you can do notary for that. You can stand on a bus corner and act, at the bus stop, act like you're trying to catch the bus, and then see if those people who are on, getting on and off the bus need a notary. You can do, here's what another thing you can do: get $17 and get on the Amtrak and catch it from one city to the next city, and you get on there and walk around with your notary shirt on and see if anybody needs notary. Get into business class on the Amtrak and then take it up to Washington, D.C. so you can see if anybody needs the notary stuff on the trip there. I mean, this is what it's going to get to. Because after a while, they're going to run out of stuff to sell, and they're going to run out of people who to sell it to, and they got to come up with something new. Yeah. Next, you're gonna be, hey, yeah, go to the to the military base, and when the ships come in, stand out there looking to, hey, you need a notary? You need a notary? Go to the airport. Notary here, with a sign. Notary here. I mean, that's what we're getting to. Yeah, man, I got 2 different screen views on the live. StreamYard, they popping. They popping. Yeah. It's the take a course on how to network at a Friday happy hour. I mean, that's what we've gotten to. This is where we have gotten to, and it's sad, and people are losing money left and right. They are truly losing money left and right. I need to show y'all something real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man. Yeah, here's an example of what we got going on, and I really appreciate this young man here. Hold on, let me make sure that thing.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have to tell you, thank you, Thank you. Thank you. Because of you, my kids' Christmas is about to be out of this world. You just made a $250,000 purchase that is going to change your life, probably for the worse, but mine for the better. Thank you. Now, I bet you're wondering, why would this guy charge $250,000 for a course? I'm going to tell you why, man. It's because I can, and I knew you would have bought it. Now, pay close attention. If you want the Lamborghinis and the yachts that you saw in my ad, you need to listen. This is how I got it, by selling the course. Thank you.
This this is what we got going on, people. Folk, do y'all know there's a guy named Myron out there? It's the black guy with the white beard. You know what he does? His business is to teach people how to sell courses to you. That's what he does. Myron Golden, that's his name. He comes across very, very astute, very, very proper, unassuming, but his job is to teach you how to how to teach people how to sell courses to the regular folk. That's what he does. He sells courses or mentorship at the tune of at least $50,000. There are people who spend $50,000 to take his course to learn how to sell you a course. And some of this stuff that's going on out here has his hand all over it. The way they go about doing it. Yeah. At the bar bragging about being a Navy SEAL who was never. Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. Yeah, named Myron Goldie. I'm telling y'all, you these folk out here are scamalicious. They are scamming left, right, up, down, all around. And there are notaries out here who are spending the money to take his course or using somebody else's login to look at the course, and then they're using that same playbook on you. And they're hitting pain points and they're making you feel whatever. And then you're getting all riled up and you're still not making any money. So that's why all of this stuff with this notary coalition, all of this stuff about notary bill of rights and all that stuff, to me, it's just a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. They know how to hit your pain points. And see, I'm willing to talk to anybody. And I was sharing with somebody today. I said, look, if we're gonna have a discussion about all of this, it needs to be live. It needs to be out here in front because they're putting it out there in front of everybody. So there's no conversation to be had in the background. The conversations need to be had up front in front of everybody. Y'all deserve to question us about all of this. And if they're not willing to talk about it publicly and have a public forum, it's no different than your politicians and stuff. Have a debate, have a moderator, somebody to moderate it and say, okay, the notary community submit questions. And then we have to answer those questions. Give the pros and cons. How is all of this going to work? You deserve that. Now, if you don't think you deserve it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling y'all, you got a decision to make. Either you're going to buy into what she and them are saying, and now you're going to focus your business on doing that, enforcing that, or you're going to ask for clarity, or just go do your own thing. And I've got myself established to where I don't need any of what they're talking about. And what they're talking about is not really sound. It doesn't make, excuse me, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's not my intent to call out people, but after a while, you get tired of the bull jive and you get tired of people just making stuff up. And it's like, you know what? Let me just say it plain and simple, and let's see what happens. So if somebody wants to have a conversation, let's have it. Either on my platform, your platform, we can have it at both platforms at the same time. Because if you believe and feel that strongly about it, then you will be more than willing to take on the questions and from the community. You want the community to back you, so the community should have the right to question you publicly. And if you don't want to be questioned publicly, then you don't need my public support nor private support. You don't need no support from me or anybody if you're not willing to address this, because somewhere along the line, it's going to cost money. Somewhere along the line, you're going to want some money. And if you want my money, you want my time, you want my talent, then I need some questions answered. And if you as a business owner don't want to feel that I ain't gonna feel like, you have that right. But just know that if you ever decide to start a signing company, you're going to probably run across somebody with that mindset, and you're going to have to address it either now or later. I'm choosing to address it now. I'm choosing to deal with it now because I see the pain that it's causing. I see the comments where people say, well, I tried to talk to them before and they just bullied me and they fussed at me about it. That's not a leader. That's no one who can lead me into nothing or out of anything. The only thing they can do is just lead me. If they can lead me anywhere, it's into a deeper hole and the more debt. I don't want that. So I strongly encourage y'all to, you're going to have to make some decisions. You need to have the conversation with them yourself. If you want to have a private conversation, have the private conversation. But I'm telling you, this thing needs to be live and in living color, like the show said, and all of that. Are there any questions, concerns about the notary business? I know I'll be running my mouth. Are there any questions or concerns about the notary business? Any thoughts about anything you want to ask me? This weekend, I'm going to try my best to work on some Ron training, to put together something for Ron to explain how the Ron functions. I'm gonna do my best. Ron is a little weird beast in and of itself. Like somebody called me the other day and they wanted me to use Notary Cam. I'm not on Notary Cam. Don't know why Notary Cam is so important, but it is what it is. Yeah, man, I know I gotta do that jerky. I know, man. I'm supposed to have done that jerky and stuff. I said, at what point in the closing are you swearing to something? That's a great question. I do it at the beginning. I get their IDs, I record them in my logbook, and then I swear them in right then and there. Now the question then becomes, do you swear them in every single time that there's an affidavit, a jurat affidavit, and there's a jurat attached to it, or do you just do it one time? That depends on your state law, because some state laws may say, how I'm saying may say, because I have not researched it out. Some state laws may say you need to do it every single time. Every single time there's a jurat, you need to swear them in. Some state laws may not say that. So you may choose to swear them in one time and keep it going. Now there was let me do this. Let me do this here. I need to check something here because I know I did some research on this before. And I'm going to see if I can just say yes. Okay. Okay, I gotta do the Google thing. I think it's this one. All right. So let me ask DeepSeek this question. He'll hold on one brief moment. Hold on one brief moment. Okay. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on. Let me. I think I know what the answer is, but I just got to check it real quick. Hold on. Hold on one second. Okay. So let me break this down. I really wasn't going to talk about this part tonight, but I'm gonna have to talk about it because, all right, my man, because somebody talked about this on TikTok, and I've done a video about this before, and there are some exceptions to it, and this is where I'm saying people come out here saying things and they don't provide you documented proof. They don't have anything to bounce off and for you to research. So let me share this with you. Let me zoom in here. And I've done this before. And if you remember when I did this, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. If you remember when I did this, what I'm about to show y'all, put a 1 in the chat. I'm asking the question a little different than what I did. And I don't have time to try to go through and figure out which AI tool that I used for this. All right. So what I'm asking it, one of the things is notary rules on signed blank documents. Everybody comes out and they just say, you can't notarize a document that got blanks. That's what they say. You can't notarize the documents that got blanks. They don't give any context to that. So let's look at the question that I asked. I say, as a notary, I have been told that I cannot notarize a document that has blanks on it. However, I've seen documents that have blanks that are to be completed by the title company or lender later after the signer signs and I notarize their signature. Are there any situations where a notary can have the signer sign? I meant to say signer sign instead, not signer, and the notary notarize a document that has blanks. It says this is an excellent and very common question that highlights the critical distinction in notarial practice. You are correct in your understanding and the guidance you've received. It is safe and universally recommended standard. Here's a breakdown of the rule, the exceptions you've observed, and the critical legal principles involved. The golden rule: do not notarize a document with blanks. The fundamental principle is that a notary sealed, authenticates signer's act at a specific moment in time. If the document is incomplete, has blanks, you cannot know what the final legal binding content will be. The signer could be agreeing to unknown terms, which undermines the integrity of the notarization and exposes you to significant risk. So, what they're talking about in this aspect, from my understanding, and feel free to chime in and hit the like button so everybody can know about this. If there's, to me, what this is saying, if there are terms and conditions and other things that need to be filled out and that is not, dollar amounts, things of that nature, it is best not to have that person sign it or you to notarize the signature on there. You have to define what do you mean by blanks? And a lot of people don't do it. They just say you cannot fill out, you cannot notarize a blank document. Typically what they mean is you cannot notarize a document that is completely blank, that has nothing on it. That makes sense. That makes 1,000% sense. That is correct. If there's a document and it has nothing on it, not filled out in any way, shape, or form, that makes sense. That you should not be doing the notarization. There's a notary thing that makes sense. Okay. But when you generalize it and say a notary cannot notarize documents that has blanks, now that tells a person if there's any blanks on a document whatsoever, it can't be notarized. That everything has to have something written in it, lying through it, or what have you. Is that the case? That's the question. And nobody clarifies that. They just give a blank statement, all loud and proud, and don't provide any context whatsoever. Now, I've done a video on this before, and I don't know if any those of you who are here remember that. So it goes on. Why is it prohibited? Fraud prevention. Blanks could be filled in later with unauthorized information. You could be held liable for fraudulent or neglect if the completed document causes harm. Violation of notary law. Most state laws or official handbooks explicitly forbid notarizing incomplete documents. And that's the thing. So they say blanks are incomplete documents. It is grounds for suspension or revoking. It said, now here's the thing. It said the exception you observe, ministerial or administrative blanks. Okay, let me zoom this in a little bit more so y'all can see. Ministerial or administrative blanks. What you are seeing in real estate transactions with title companies and lenders is a very narrow industry-specific exception. These are not substantive blanks that affect the legal rights or obligations of the signer. These permissible blanks are typically limited to the loan number, file number, property description details, recording information, internal routing information. The key test, the blanks must be for information that is purely administrative, to be filled in by the professional party like the lender or title agent as a direct result of the signing event itself, and does not alter the substantive agreement the signer is approving. So in other words, these little blanks that are on here do not affect the terms and conditions of the document. But when you say it's incomplete, what deems it incomplete? Well, there's no loan number up there. So what do? Get on the phone and call them. Now, at the point that you call them and they tell you, yeah, everything is cool, we're going to fill that in later. Either you roll with it or you don't. And if you don't, you better have a just cause for that. How to handle the situation. Your document stance must be no blanks. Always start from the position that you cannot proceed if you see blank. This protects you and upholds your duty. Clarify and verify. When you encounter a document with blanks at the signing, especially real estate closing, You must ask the signing agent or presenting party. I see blanks here. Can you confirm what information will go in these blanks and who will fill them in? Get a clear answer. You need verbal assurance that the blanks are strictly for title company, lender, recording office, this, that, and the other. In a real estate setting, the loan signing agent, who is not the notary, which is interesting to say that, is typically responsible for ensuring the package is correct. They work for the title company, lender, and should be able to confirm this. Never allow the signer to fill in blanks at the table. This is a major red flag. If the signer needs to add missing substantive information like the date, dollar amount, name, the notarization could be postponed until a complete final document is prepared. Your journal entry and seal are for the signed completed document presented. Document your diligence. In your journal, you can note signer confirmed all substantive portions of the document are complete, notarized per instructions from such and such title company. Know your state laws, all of that. Bottom line, yes, there's a de facto practical exception for certain administrative blanks in tightly controlled transactions like real estate closings, where professional third parties complete clerical details after execution. However, as a notary, you are not the one making the call on your own. So this is all. How hard is it to just go and find this out? So when you have people hopping up there saying, as a notary republic, you cannot notarize an incomplete document or a document that has blanks. Give me some more context on that. How? Give me some more. Are you sure? Based off of what? Did you talk to your state? Did you talk to my state? So I'm sharing this information with you. So now you say, well, you know what? Let me see something. All right. It gives me a public link. Cool. And I'm dropping that in the chat. Hold on. Let me redo that. I gotta delete that because I accidentally hit something by accident. It put another character back in there. Okay, there we go. So now you can go and use that and say, okay, well, let me find out for myself. Let me find out for myself. It's nothing wrong with doing some research and finding out. The problem is people want to seem like they're the smartest person in the room. And they don't do any research. They heard it from someone else who's told by someone else who told this other else. And then they say, you cannot notarize an improper document. So then the question then becomes this here. And this was another question that I asked. I said, okay, what is considered an incomplete document that a notary should not perform a notarization on? Correct, Larry. And that's all I'm saying. So even with that, here's the thing. You have to actually, so let's just say you're in Florida. So that's Florida. But if Texas says, no, that's cool. Now what you should do, this is to me, this is the smart business thing you should do. Larry's in Florida. Florida law says you should fill it in with NA. What you should be doing for any state that is not Florida, which I know that's an oxymoron the way I'm saying it, but I'm just trying to bring home a point. You should contact them and say, hey, in accordance with my state statute, and give them the state statute. Florida says I'm supposed to do this. Are you okay with that? Now, here's a dilemma. If they say no, do not put anything in that spot because we're going to fill it out when we get it back because we're waiting on the survey number or the recording number or what have you in order to fill that out. Now you got to make a decision. Either you're going to go with what they said or you're going to be like, you know what? I ain't doing it. So now now I won't even say interfering. Now you're making them say, okay, well, we can't use that notary. And that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. But you need to understand where you're at with this. So I'm not saying that you can't do it, but see, they don't know your state law. They just know what they're supposed to do. So this says here, and I'm glad you brought that up, Larry. I really am. Thank you for saying that. It says my state suggests not notarizing with any blanks, and you should contact the NNA for further. Well, see, no, I don't think you should contact the NNA. You should contact the people who created the document. The NNA going to just tell you, oh, don't do this. The NNA is going to tell you, they're just going to be like, don't do it. So now here's the bigger question. Here's the bigger question. If all these entities are saying don't do this, then to me it seems like we need to have a conversation about this with them. The state, the lender, the title need to have a conversation and say, okay, how are we going to handle this? Now, here's the other factor. Here's the other factor that a lot of people don't think about. When you do these closings, if you scan the documents and you have proof that when you ship this out, it was like this, but when they get it, it's something else. There's your proof that, yeah, the document had these blanks in it, but they weren't filled out. I'm not saying, I'm just giving you scenarios. I'm trying to give you more than just make a blanket statement and then you get into a closing and you go off of something like this and then you like, well, I can't do that. And they're like, where's the chapter and verse that says you can't? Show me. Especially when you got other notaries doing it. And I'm not saying do it because they're doing it, but this is what they're going to lean on. So now the question is, okay, how do I deal with this? So if you know, well, it says no scans required. Okay, fine. Don't mean you still can't scan it for your own records, temporarily for your own records to protect yourself. What's wrong with doing that? There's nothing wrong with doing that. But the thing is, you still have to have that conversation. That's the thing. You got to have that conversation. Because the problem is that they look at notaries at the bottom of the totem pole of authority here, and you're sitting up here trying to make a command decision of saying what you're not going to do, even though you have state law backing you. You still need to have a smart, wise conversation with them. If you're unwilling to do that, then the question is why? Why can't you just have a conversation with them and say, hey, this, but have your stuff together, your ducks in a row, as they would say, and present a compelling argument to them that's factual, not emotional, so that they can, because maybe they didn't know and maybe they're fine with that. And because at the same time, you say, well, instead of me writing in a big, how about I make a notation, a smaller in a, but then you can fill it in later, because then they can line through an initial that NA to say, okay, this is no longer applicable, saying not applicable on the not applicable, and then put in the proper number. What's wrong with doing that? Or better yet, they can have it to where that document doesn't need to be notarized. Because now the question is, why is that document being notarized? And in some cases, they want that document being notarized that's not even being recorded, just so they can ensure that the person signed it. That's what I've learned over the years. Okay. So it goes on and says here, let's look at this real quick. So, explanation: understanding what constitutes an incomplete document is central to the notary duty. An incomplete document is any document that lacks information necessary for it to be a final, legally binding instrument at the moment of notarization. Okay, this is key. So, just because there's a blank doesn't mean that the document is incomplete. What does incomplete mean? A document, an incomplete document is any document that lacks the information necessary for it to be a final, legally binding instrument at the moment of notarization. Now, how will we know that? The only way we, the people who would know that would be who? The person signing the document, which means what? They need to take time out to read it. So when you start trying to do all of this here, hey, let me guide you through, let me give you a summary of it, you best be able to say in this summary, here's all the final legally binding information that this document needs prior to me notarizing it. This is why I keep my mouth shut about these documents, because I don't know what the final legally binding information is supposed to be. Tell me if that makes sense or not. If that makes sense, put a 1 in the chat. If it doesn't make sense, put a 2 in the chat. The core principle is that your notary seal certifies that the signer act do I have my cough drops with me? No, I do not. I need to just throw some up here. I'll leave them up here. The core principle is that your notarial seal certifies that the signer's act on that specific document as it exists at that specific time. If the document can be altered after you apply your seal, your certification becomes meaningless and potentially fraudulent. Here's a detailed breakdown. Sustainative, whatever the heck that word. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that word. The absolute stop sign. These are blanks that affect the legal rights, obligations, identity of parties, or essential terms of the agreement. And this is one of the things that we talk about in the notary certificate training. I literally go into this here aspect of it, but in a different manner. If any of these are missing, the document is incomplete. Because I think, Denise, you took the training and you remember what I was talking about for its intended purpose. That's one of the reasons, that's the whole point of the acknowledgement, that the signer signed the document for its intended purpose. And which means the signers need to know that goes all the way back to the title company, the lender, and all of that and everything. Correct. You're not a lawyer. So then again, I understand you're not a lawyer. And this is what the point that I'm making. This is why notaries are supposed to keep their mouth shut. How can you guide? Because that's the term they're using now, or give an overview. Because to give an overview, that means you understand that this document is what? Legally sound. You cannot give somebody an overview of something that you don't fully understand yourself. So you're absolutely right. We're not lawyers. So why are people training us to operate like that? If you understand notary law, just the basics of just notary, what we're supposed to be doing there, how in the world can we even get into trying to walk somebody through and ensure this signing agent bullcrap, in my opinion, of ensuring this? No, that's the job of the title and the lender to make sure that that person understands what they're getting into, and that person should take the time out to read it. Hence, why are we being rushed to get it done in an hour or less? You see what I'm saying? Give it what I'm asking for. That is correct. She said she remembered that in the training. The training was fantastic. And Dennis, he was there. The training was awesome. We cover all of that. The information is in the description. If you're interested in taking the notary certificate training, we'll be doing it starting next year. But then it goes on, said, these are blanks that affect the legal rights, obligations, identity of parties, or the essential terms of the agreement. Blank lines like the party's name, blank lines, critical dates missing, maturity dates, financial terms, descriptions. Oh, I need to give y'all, create the link to this. Did I do this already? Hold up. Because I be doing stuff so quick. Oh, yeah, I did. It's already in there. So, okay. So when y'all go there, you refresh it, it'll show. So it'll give you the whole conversation. So signatures, missing signature lines, all of that, missing notarial wording, all of that makes it incomplete. Okay. It makes it all incomplete. Permissible blanks, the proceed with caution, administrative blanks. So this is where you have to sit down and do some talking, like, okay, what are administrative blanks? This is all I'm saying. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Y'all do need, this covers help you in, I don't care what state you're in, for all 50 states, you will learn everything you need to know about proper notarization. Point blank, period. So just in this little segment here, all I'm saying is simply this. There's more to it. And you can't keep taking these people that are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, just at their spoken word without them actually taking time out to do what? Break this sucker down. They're not doing that. But all of these people bragging about how educated they are, and they can't take the time out. And then the argument will be, well, AI is incorrect, but you're using it to create your notary profile. You're using it to create you a marketing plan. But when it comes to trying to understand, get at least a general idea of notary laws, what things mean, or you can't use the AI for that. So I can't use AI for that, but I have to use you. And who are you? Oh, just some random person on YouTube that started 3 months ago, that only did 4 notarizations in the past year. And that spend all your time fussing about how you don't like the notary business and this, that, or the other. A lot of them are gone. A lot of them are gone. And now the new ones, they done hopped up and they just stick on Instagram because, that's easier, just a quick. They're probably getting more money on Instagram and TikTok than they could on YouTube for some of them. And it's a lot, and you got to be disciplined to do YouTube. What they call long form content. You got to be disciplined. And you got to be able to sit here and, because what y'all see is what I see. I'm looking at myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm just looking at myself, visualizing y'all. I see y'all pictures, y'all over here off to the side and everything. Oh, okay. I had the door open, being too loud. All right. So is there anything else, people? Because I gotta finish printing my documents for tomorrow and all of that good stuff. Take time out to learn. Ask questions. That's all you got to do. Just dig a little deeper. That's all. I ask questions all the time for these companies. What do you need me to do here? What do you need me to do there? I see this and I see that. What does this mean? What does that mean? And sometimes they get angry and they're like, well, why are you asking all these questions? I said, because the point is that I have to do this right so we all get paid. If I don't do the proper notarization, if I don't fill this stuff out correctly, we don't get paid. Matter of fact, let me show you. Let me give you a quick example and then we out of here. Let me give you a quick example of what I had to deal with earlier today. And I made a mistake. I corrected it. But I did make a mistake because I read it wrong. I don't know how I read it wrong, but I corrected it. Everything. So let me find this real quick for y'all. I believe it's in this one. Yeah, I think it's, hold on. It's a notarial certificate area. And it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard at, it did. It caught me off guard. So this is it right here. All right. If I need to. So, and I will be including I will be including this into the training also. But here's what you need to understand. So the person, when they signed it, I didn't have time to take their name out, but when they signed it, they're signing either as an individual, an entity in representative capacity, partnership, acknowledging as an individual acting as principal by an attorney in fact, or a public officer, trustee, and all that. So this person is signing one time on this document, but what is the capacity that they're signing in? So at first, I didn't catch that they had member behind their name, and I was about to do this one right here. And then I was like, wait a minute, are they member, or are they doing this as an individual, or are they CEO, or what? Realized that they were a member, they were signing as a member. So what I ended up having to do, let me zoom this in a little bit more. So I had to use this one, the state of, now why isn't, I don't know why. I don't know why that's not staying in there. But I had to do the state of. Hold on one second. This Adobe Cloud thing. All right, let me open this back up. I just have a thing I'd like when I'm doing, I like to annotate my stuff the way it's supposed to be. All right, hold on one brief moment. Come on. All right. Let me go back to it. All right, let me zoom in. All right, there we go. All right. So what I ended up doing, state of Virginia, and then I think what we was in Virginia Beach. I do at Virginia Beach, and then I said the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me. I put today's date here, and then it tells you everything you need to know: name and title, his name, and then his title of the name of the entity, acknowledging his business name, and then a name of state of incorporation, a Virginia LLC on behalf of the LLC. And then my signature, boom. What the mistake that I had made was, and I wasn't paying attention, I might have looked up and read this up here, and I had wrote the business name down here a second time. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I made a mistake. So I lined through initial, and then I put LLC over here. And I caught it. Now, could I have I could have swapped it out, but it was fine for me just to line it, one line, initial, and then make the correction. And then stamp. This is the basics of what we're supposed to be doing. We got to understand this. And you have to be able to pay attention to what's going on to know, is this for an individual, representative capacity, all of that. If you say, well, what does the word representative capacity mean? Google it so you can find out. And then it's just a common sense thing. And it's telling you everything you need to know. The date of the acknowledgement by who? The name of the attorney in fact, which would be that person signing on behalf as the attorney in fact for, which would be the name of the principal. So it will be this date by Earl Jones for Sam Watson. And then the state of, and you say, well, what about that? Yeah, they made made a mistake there. No problem. I still will put my Virginia. I will put in my county, stamp, signature, keep it going. It's that simple. This is where notaries are falling apart and failing at because they don't understand this. This is why I do the notary certificate training to break all of this down. And now that I see this document, I'm going to be including this and we're going to be going over this also. So this is the money maker right here. And if you can't figure this out, you're not going to make money in this business. You're not going to make money in this business. So all the stuff that they're teaching, very few of them, if any, teaches that stuff. And y'all know I'm telling the truth because you see it in your Facebook groups every single day and hour each and every day. How do I fill this out? What do I put there? And they are just jacking stuff up left and right. All right, y'all. Let me get on up out of here. I hadn't gone to the grocery store yet, so I still need to go do that. 9 o'clock, and check on my wife, see how she doing, and all of that. And I hope this was helpful tonight. And honestly, I hadn't planned on talking this long, but I hope this was helpful. I hope this clarified some things. I hope this showed you the importance of doing your own research, asking questions, and all of that. If you choose not to, don't get upset with how terrible things go in your life or your business life. You're responsible for your own business life, no one else. No one owes you any extra money than what you're currently making. Any of that. They don't. So all these people out here who have their own internal issues with the amount of money they're making in this business, all they got to do is stand up and walk away. And the problem is they're afraid. That's what's weird. I'm supposed to be leaving, but do you realize how afraid some of these people are to leave this business? They are literally afraid to leave this business because they know there's a gold mine of money in actually doing the notary work, but they know there's a bigger gold mine in causing y'all to be fearful and get y'all riled up and to sell y'all another course, another mentorship program, another this, another that. And they know that y'all are a gold mine. So there's two gold mines. Us, the people, for as selling stuff to and getting us to spend all this money for some junk that we don't need. And the other gold mine is us actually doing the work. I'm on the do the work gold mine while everybody else is on the I'm going to get angry and get mad and I'm going to try to rise up gold mine. But the problem is when you start trying to do all this rising up against the people who can pay you, you end up not getting paid. Think about it. You're going to rise up against the person who's going to pay. You won't even do that at your job. You do it at your job. They say, okay, well, since you got this lawsuit against me, you can, why are you still coming here to work every day? I thought you said you have a lawsuit against me for lost wages or such and such or return. They stop you from even coming. So why should I continue to hire a independent notary who is a part of an organization that wants to attack me and pull me down, and as they say, go public on me and try to embarrass me and shame me? So you want to be a part of this, sign off on it, get on YouTube and all this, that, and the other, talking smack. That's why they don't want to come on here and talk to me about it, because it's going to really put them on Front Street. And you still expect me to pay you, and all of those are part of your association. I don't want to deal with them until I'm forced to have to work with you. In the interim, you stay over there, I'm going to stay here, and we'll figure this thing out. So if you don't like the money, you don't like the stuff, stand up and walk away. And you see they won't do it. And some of them try and they keep coming back. They keep changing the name of their organization and what they operate under and all of that. They keep changing it. Why are they changing it? Maybe they have a bad reputation with these other people out here. And they're like, oh, I see that name. I don't want to mess with you. And they keep changing names. I've been Griffin Notary the whole time. Every time I turn around, somebody keep changing. Oh, yeah, I'm this and I'm that. Spewing the same old rhetoric. Ain't nothing changed, just the name. All right, y'all. You have a good one. I appreciate y'all as always. Talk to you later. Peace.